Welcome to the Own Your Life podcast, where our goal is to help bring hope, healing, and peace by sharing our experiences and inspiring you to own your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Own Your Life podcast. Today is episode 71, all about who do you depend on. And just wanted to start off by saying happy fall to everyone. I know it's been fall for a couple weeks now, but enjoying the coldest day that we've had in Tampa so far, which you guys are going to laugh if you are not in Florida. The high today is 65, so by no means is that cold, especially since I'm from Indiana, but just kind of funny that it's November 6th when I'm recording this, and the high is 65. It's 61 degrees and chilly outside, so some of you are probably rolling your eyes and being like, yeah, no, it's like 20 here. That's actual cold, but regardless, this is the first fall winter in Tampa, Florida, so excited for that. And this also is coming out the day before Veterans Day, so I do want to thank all of you who have served in our military, whether it was Air Force or Navy, Marines, anything like that. Thank you for your service. I appreciate all that you do for this country, and I know that we would not have the freedoms that we do if it weren't for you and your sacrifices. So thank you so much, and I hope that you have a great day on Veterans Day and get to spend time with the ones that you love. So with that, I wanted to talk about, who do you depend on? And some people, it might even be, what do you depend on? It could be something that's not, another person. And I think this is important because as we've seen play out a lot lately, that we really can't depend on a lot of other things to sustain us and whatnot, and to not to be, what I'm saying is like not to be codependent. You don't want to be codependent on something and that if it crumbles or if it fails, then your world is over. And people could be codependent on their jobs. So like we're seeing that people who have been with their jobs for 20 plus years, we just keep seeing multiple stories that now because of most of it is because of this vaccine mandate, that they are now having to choose whether they're going to stay there or not. And they've depended on that for so long, and rightfully so. I don't blame them at all, because they've, thought, I'm going to be a police officer my whole life and I'm going to retire as one, when I'm X age, and that's going to be it. That's how I want to provide for my family. That's how I want to provide for my community. And now they're having to make that decision to leave that earlier than maybe they would have had it not been all these circumstances that are happening. And something interesting I just saw was that the Democrats did vote against all of the people coming across the border illegally, that they do not have to get the vaccine. So to show you that this is what I've said before, it is all about control. That if they cared so much about what they say they care about, then everybody, no matter who you are, where you come from, whatever, you would have to get this. That's not the case. So they are imposing this on the American workers. If this is your first time listening to us, yes, it is going to get a little political at times because I am sick of not saying anything and not standing up for what I believe in. And I know that this is affecting us in everyday lives. And I don't want to just ignore it and act like it's not going on, because it is part of owning your life. At the end of the day, if we don't have freedom, especially over our medical decisions, in our body, our actual body, like the one thing that like is all ours and nobody else's, like if we don't have freedom over that, then there will be no owning your life. You don't get to own your life if somebody else is controlling everything that you get to do. So with that, I just wanted to clarify. So if you haven't heard this before and you're like, I thought this was like a personal growth podcast. Well, it is, but it's also, we're going to talk about the real stuff. I'm not going to shy away from that. So just know that will be included in some of these most recent podcasts for sure, and moving forward, because I feel like it's important to talk about it. And this is real. A lot of people are now having to figure out something else to depend on. So what is that for you? Are you already, depending on your job or your friends or your family or your spouse or your kids or somebody else to get you through whatever it is you're going through, whether or not it's all this, stuff going on in the world, or maybe it's some other issue that you've got that you're trying to deal with, are you depending on somebody else? Are you being codependent on someone or something else? Because I know that I have been before, and it's strong. It's something that you need to recognize if you can. And I know for a long time, I didn't realize when I was codependent, whether it was on other people or things. And if that failed or whatever, then my world would come crashing down. And I really changed my focus to putting my dependency on God. And yes, I am a Christian, and I didn't grow up that way, but that is what I believe now. And Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And I believe in depending on God for everything, because he is the one source that cannot fail us no matter what. So at least from what I've experienced, that has been my source of dependency that's carried me through everything in my life, whether I realized it or not. A lot of times it was after the fact that I look back and was like, okay, none of this could have happened if I didn't depend on God. But that's my, personal story, is that I've just seen so many things that have either happened or like, why is this happening? Things that you don't understand. And then coming on the other side of maybe it was a hard situation or maybe it was a good situation, but just the outcome was just something you can't even explain to me. Like, I just say that's all God. Like, God did all of that because I depended on him and I put my faith in him to carry me through whatever situation I was going through. So with that, with everything that's happening, if you are somebody who is now having to decide, hey, I've been a nurse for 25 years. I wanted to keep going until I retired, and now I have to quit because I'm not getting this vaccine. Now what are you going to depend on? And if I was that person, I would put all of my faith, which I do anyways, but I would put all of my faith in God that, okay, I'm going to leave this, but I know you're going to open the door and you're going to provide a way for me in another avenue, whatever that is, to still be able to provide for my family. Because I really don't believe being forced into doing something as strong as, altering your body with this vaccine just to please a boss. I am so against that. And I feel like we should have freedom, especially over our body choices and medical choices. And, if it's something that you've already gotten the vaccine because you believe in it, that's great. I'm not trying to shame you for getting it. I'm just trying to say for the people who do not want it and don't want to lose their job over it, I do feel like that we should be standing up and we should be speaking out about it, because I feel like if everybody did that, or not even everybody, but if enough people did that there would be a difference, that they would not be able to force all of this on us because there's too much opposition. But if we all just, bend the knee and go with what's being said, that they're going to keep taking more and more from us. That's the thing that I see. I know Matt and I both have futuristic in our strengths from StrengthsFinder 2.0. If you've never done that, I would highly suggest to check out that book. So when you buy the book, there's like a code in there and it gives you the website link to go to, and you fill out all this stuff to find out, what your strengths are. And you would have to get multiple books or multiple codes for different people. You can't all use the same one. So anyways, we've done that. And futuristic was one of our strengths. And so what I can just see from all of this is, and I'm not like a fortune teller, I'm not trying to say that. That's ridiculous. I don't believe in any of that. Just from what I can, just looking back at history and what has happened. So using that logic and discernment to, okay, so if we all just, say, hey, yeah, it's great. Go ahead. Let's all get this vaccine, whether we agree with it or not, just to please the companies and please the government and do it. Then what? What comes after that? That's my question. Then what? Now, what else are you going to take? Are you going to control my finances now and tell me you can only spend X amount a week, or you can only do this, or you can only go to this place, or you can only wear this, or you can only say this, or you can only eat this? Like, I feel like the control is not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. And a lot of people are not seeing this. They're thinking very short-term minded. And I feel like a lot of us are short-term minded because of where we live in right now, in that everything is so quick and instantaneous. You can look things up on your phone right away, and that we're not really thinking far ahead into the future and trying to think about that. We're just thinking about instant gratification. What can I get right now to satisfy me right this second? I would challenge you to really think about So if we did all of this and we agree with everything the government says or whatever we're being told to do and not question it, then what? What happens after that? Because that's the scary part to me, is that, so we agree to that. And most people think, oh yeah, just do it. Just, shut up, get your vaccine. It'll be fine. And they'll leave you alone. No, they won't. I can guarantee you they're not going to leave us alone. That's not it. That's not the end. They're not going to be like, all right, we're good. Everybody's fine. Move on. Let's all move on with our lives. No, it's just going to get worse and worse. There's going to be more control in areas that you don't even think about right now, that they're going to come out with whatever they're going to come out with. And it's very, very scary. I've heard, and I really, really hope this isn't true, but that they're going to start vaccine mandates for children in schools. Like, that makes my blood boil immediately. Just thinking of how many children are going to be harmed by that, and how many won't have the choice to either attend a public school instead or be homeschooled because their parents can't do that or whatever. They're coming for the kids. And that is so, so terrifying. So with all of this, it's what are we depending on? Are you depending on the government for your security, for your, health, freedom, and everything? Because I think that that's a dangerous thing to do. Or are you depending on, God in your country, and belief that, people want to be free and people want to just live their lives and be left alone? I think that's what we want at the end of the day. So I think that's a really important question to ask yourself, to really analyze what's going on. And something that I feel that a lot of us don't take into account is, if you put your faith and trust into a person, into maybe your kids, maybe your spouse, maybe your friend, maybe a mom or a dad, that you are setting them and yourself up for failure, because people are not perfect. And at some point you will be disappointed by something they say, do, something they didn't say, something they didn't do, putting unfair expectations on people, and then acting a certain way when that doesn't happen, because you were dependent on that person for whatever it was, whatever need that you were wanting them to fulfill. And some of them, voiced or not voiced, regardless if you told them or not, it's still an unfair expectation to have on somebody to be dependent on them for everything. And I think that can lead us down to codependency, which is very dangerous. And I know I've done that before, and it can be really hard to withdraw from once you notice that you're doing that, and to stop doing that. It's very difficult. It's not something you can just do, in 5 minutes and like, oh, no, I'm done. I'm just not going to depend on this person anymore. No, it's going to take some time and some work on your end to really analyze, why are you this dependent on this person, really looking at the core of it. Because I do believe that when you get to the core of something and the root of something, that you have a much better chance, if not almost 100% chance, of not falling back into that pattern again. If you can get rid of the root of why that happened in the first place, that you're not going to be likely to fall back into that bad habit. So just something to really think about is, are you codependent on another person, and why? Why is this happening? I think why is a powerful question for a lot of things that you're going through, and definitely with, who are you depending on, or what are you depending on, and why? Why is that? Because a lot of that can stem from maybe some insecurity that you've had for a very long time that maybe you forgot about, you didn't realize was there, something like that. So I know a lot of this, this can go to something personal, or it can be, like I said in the beginning, like, are you so dependent on your job, your career, how you provide for your family, that you will sacrifice your values and everything just to keep doing that, because you are so dependent on that income or that title or whatever it is, that you are not willing to, stand up and make a change, because we can't predict the future. And I know there's a lot of things that we can guess. We can hopefully try to predict, positive outcomes for the future, and see based off of what's happened before. If that continues, then you'll probably get the same result. That's usually a good indicator. But to be so dependent on something that it's always going to be there and it's never going to change is also silly, because I feel like everything changes at some point. So really just analyzing, what are you dependent on, why, or who, and why, and really taking that into account, because I think a lot of us have been maybe dependent on something that was not healthy to be dependent on in the first place. And in my opinion, I think we should only be dependent on God, because he can fulfill every need that we have, and he will not fail us. At least that is my experience. He has never failed me. Now, maybe some things have not happened in the time frame that I would have liked them to happen. However, he has never failed me and left me behind. So I do put my trust and my faith in God because of time and time again of him showing me things that I've thought my way or my thinking was better, and it didn't end up that way. And then I see, hindsight's 2020. I see, okay, this is why that happened because of this, or this would never have happened in a positive way if that didn't happen the way it did. So I see how it's all unfolding now after going through, certain situations that we can't tell at the time, what the outcome's going to be. But, the main message is, just really asking yourself those questions. I think it is really powerful to ask questions. I know we've said that multiple times, and I'm going to keep saying that because this might be your first time listening to us. So just knowing that questions are very powerful into unlocking change and locking things in you that you may not know were there or may not know were holding you back. So because we want you to own your life and to take responsibility of what you can control, because we cannot control the outside circumstances around us or other people, but we can control ourselves, how we react, and what we decide to put our faith and trust in. So with that, I hope this message was helpful. Again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. We appreciate all your service. And please share this message. Please subscribe. Please rate and review us. And until next time, own your life because your life is your responsibility. Thank you all for listening. If this added value to you, please click subscribe and rate and review us. You can also find us at Own Your Life Co. on Instagram and Facebook and ownyourlifeco.com. And as always, own your life because your life is your responsibility.